I use this whiteboard for creating plans. On the front side, you can see these are the plans for my boat. On the back, these are the plans for everything else in my life. I've been using this strategy for many years, and I find it's a very effective way of organizing my thoughts, creating a strategy for life, and it keeps me from getting too depressed about things that may not be going exactly as planned. It's been about 4 months now since I started my new job as a truck driver, and that job hasn't been paying quite as much as I had hoped. I knew this was a possibility, but it's just a matter of not getting enough overtime, and so I've been kind of falling behind on getting my debt repaid. The company I work for has been going through a corporate merger since before I started working there, but that merger was completed at the beginning of the new year, and a lot of people decided to quit their jobs, just not return from Christmas vacation, which is totally understandable. The good news for me, though, is that has opened up a lot more opportunities for overtime and a little bit of increased pay potentially. A few months ago, it seemed like that I was going to be able to get my debt repaid within about a year, but as the months have dragged on, as I have had a lot higher cost of living, and as my pay really hasn't been what I expected, mostly because I haven't gotten the overtime that I was expecting, I realized that paying off my debt within a year was going to be basically impossible. Working this job really does take a very physical and mental toll. It's a lot of long hours, it's very heavy physical labor, and it doesn't leave me enough time to really take care of myself. But I do think things are going to be a little bit better in the new year. The first thing that's going to change is my work situation a little bit. I'm still keeping my same job for now, but I have 6 months of experience now, so if something happens to that job, I can get a new one, no problem. But while I have this job, they have asked me to come in an extra day every week, which should help out quite a bit with my finances. Unfortunately, they also did ask me to work the morning shift. By morning, I mean starting at midnight and going until 10 a.m. But it doesn't really matter too much because with my finances the way they are currently, I'm not really going to be able to do a whole lot outside of work and then going on these short hikes like this on the weekend. However, there is good news because at the end of February, or possibly beginning of March, I should get the first installment of my sign-on bonus, and that's a significant amount of money. It should allow me to pay off enough of my debt that I should be free to start actually doing things a little bit more. At least by the end of March, it would be my guess. So, less than 1 or 2 months away from when I filmed this. I've been trying to think of ways I can make this debt repayment go faster. It seems like just trying to grind through it just never really pans out for me. I can see how it works for some people if they have a really high income compared to their expenses and compared to the minimum payments on their debt. But that's not the situation I'm in. Except for maybe a handful of people that are living off the land or something like that, I think the basic cost of living has really increased for everyone. And even in the last 4 months, when I started this job, it was more than enough to pay for this apartment and make even larger payments on my debt than I was doing before. But now, all I'm doing is basically making minimum payments, and a lot of that is just factors that are beyond my control. So let's talk about the things that are actually within my control. So the first thing is, for the next couple of months, maybe even 3 months, I'll be spending all of my money paying off my credit card. It's going to be a slog, but it's going to be worth it, especially once I get that sign-on bonus. That credit card balance is going to be 0. The next thing that I can do is I need to take a look at my car. I bought my car specifically to live in and to do car life in. And when I did that, I bought it realizing that it was going to be expensive. I was going to have monthly payments, and it was going to be worth it because it was still less than an apartment. And that is still true today. Unfortunately, it still cost me about $1,000 a month to keep my car around. And for something that I basically can't use, it's hardly worth it. So at the very least, I want to stop being underwater on my car, which I am slightly again. So I'll have to pay off a few $1,000s on my car loan and get it to the point where selling the car is at least an option. Whether I decide to exercise that option or not, I don't know, but it needs to be an option. The third thing that I really need to consider doing, and I've already looked into it, is I need to refinance one of my loans. It's a personal loan from the bank, it's unsecured, and right now the interest rate is 14%. And my credit score has improved a lot since I got that loan. My income has improved a lot, and I've already looked into refinancing it, and it would save me a huge amount of money. I have just been kind of delaying doing that because the longer I wait to refinance it, the better the deal is going to be. But I really need to get it done this month because my student loan repayment started up this month for me. I'm not sure why it was delayed compared to most people, but that's just when they billed me, so I need to make sure I have enough money to cover that student loan payment as well. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do about the student loans. Fortunately, I don't have a huge amount and my payment is low, so I probably just am not going to worry about it for now. I have more pressing matters to deal with and larger and worse debts that I need to pay off. But really, that's it for my debts anymore. So I have been looking at other ways that I can potentially improve my life. So the first thing that I've been thinking about doing is just selling things. I've already done some of that, but there really isn't much that I own that's of value. I could potentially sell my piano, but it was an inexpensive piano to begin with, and it's not worth very much. I still may do that at some point just because it could be difficult to move eventually, but I'm not in any immediate danger of moving, so it's going to be staying where it is, I think. The biggest thing that I could do to really improve my situation is to downsize or potentially eliminate my storage unit. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to completely eliminate my storage unit, but I should be able to downsize it to something significantly smaller. I originally got that storage unit, so it was big enough to hold my bus, and I used it quite a bit for that actually. Anytime the bus broke down and it needed to wait for the shop, or sometimes I was visiting family, something like that, I just needed a secure place where I could park the bus without having to worry about it. Some place that I had control over and was basically mine. When I moved into my car, I found that I still had a need for that type of storage, and I continued using it that way. It was in the middle of nowhere, it was dirt cheap, and so it worked out really well. Unfortunately, the storage unit was sold to a larger company, and ever since then it's been going up in price fairly slowly at first, but now a little bit more rapidly. I could save about $200 a month, I think, by downsizing the stuff that's in there into a storage unit half the size, and that may be what happens. I have considered just selling or getting rid of everything in that storage unit, and that would be kind of sad because there are things in there that I would really like to keep around, but truthfully, I can't use most of any of them anyways because it costs me too much money to go get them, and so it may be smarter to just eliminate everything in the storage unit and just completely eliminate that expense, which would be about $400 a month. The best news is that this channel is almost monetized. I am just over 100 subscribers away from being fully monetized. I'm already partially monetized in theory, but I should start getting ad revenue after I pick up about 100 more subscribers. I've also been working on retooling my equipment for this channel. I think I put up a video earlier of all the equipment that I've kind of changed around so things should look and sound a little bit better. I did find this microphone for really cheap, and it's actually a pretty decent microphone, so I'm really happy with that. And my biggest project so far, my sailboat design project, is progressing fairly nicely. I took a little bit of a break from it for a while, but it's back. I've been working and making steady progress a little bit at a time every week. And my prototype model boat that I've been building, it's getting to be almost done, at least the hull is. And so I'll be putting out a video on everything that's happened with that next week. It's just a slow burning project that may or may not ever go to completion. To actually build it, I don't know what the real estate or my income would have to look like to actually make that happen, but it would be difficult here in the US. Another option would be to try to build it somewhere else in the world outside the US, and that may be an option for my future anyways, but that's something that I'm going to be considering at a later date. For now though, there does seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel, even if I don't really see a way of completely paying off my debt. I can at least get it under control again and make other projects in my life a little bit more important. There's no getting around the fact that the next couple of months are probably going to be fairly rough for me, but at the end of those couple of months, I should be a lot more free than I am today.